Hello, my name is Taylor Watts. I'm going to do the overview of the generalist social work practice with female African American students. It is obvious that the needs of African American girls need to be addressed. I'm going to begin with asking the class 2 questions. 1. How much longer are we going to allow the school system to continue to criminalize girls of color? 2. Who is able to assist with this issue? What does a generalist social worker do? Generalist social workers can engage in policy advocacy to minimize the involvement of law enforcement in schools. It would require collaborative efforts of not only social workers, but also of administrators, teachers, parents, and other stakeholders to create de-escalation policies, protect student rights, institute culturally responsive and trauma-informed trainings, and remove any law enforcement personnel from the school. When the social worker is in the process of creating practice standards, it is imperative that they work directly with the affected population. It is a sad fact that Black students are 3 times more likely to attend schools that have police but no school counselors. School social workers can provide a safe environment for the affected students and parents. The purpose of this intervention would be for the social worker to create new standards that would ensure the safety of the student, staff, and parents. The social worker would also empower the affected population by working to change the standards the school set, with interventions of cultivating social change. Challenges or ethical dilemmas. School social workers who provide services to children who have experienced discriminatory or unjust acts against them in an educational environment must be cognizant to a wide range of different theories based on the functions that he or she performs. They often use approaches such as reality therapy, motivational interviewing, and family systems therapy. There are many different acronyms for identifying a school social worker, but this can be an issue and a dilemma when the responsibility and role of the social worker is dictated by the title under which the worker functions. In other words, the title of the position that the worker is fulfilling may not require or adhere to the same guidelines and standards as required by the NASW Code of Ethics. There are 6 core values that social workers are obligated to integrate within their field. A school social worker must utilize all 6 of the core values. 1. Services implemented by different interventions to provide a safe environment for the affected student and parent. The worker should be engaged in policy advocacy with the intentions of minimizing the encounters that young girls of color have with police and security personnel. 2. Social justice is demonstrated by the worker to confront school hierarchy with different policies and interventions. 3. And 4. Importance of human relations and dignity of worth of a person. Both coincide in this matter because it is important for the worker to understand the environment that the child and the parent of the affected population is residing in, because it could possibly be affecting the child's behavior. It is also important for the worker to build rapport with the population directly. The worker can do this by holding forums with the children and the parents to discuss the possibility of implementing new standards to ensure safety, empowerment, and to work with school officials to change policies and standards to cultivate social change. By not doing this, the affected child and parent may not have a clear understanding of the social worker's role. 5. Integrity exhibits the way the social worker behaves by adhering to the mission, values, and ethical principles. If the worker is providing false hope or not being honest with the process of addressing the concern, This would build a sense of animosity amongst the professional, the parent, and or the affected student. 6. Social workers practice in their areas of competence and expertise to enhance their understanding of the profession. Social workers who have worked to address the issues of African American females who have been removed from their schools and placed into the juvenile system. The primary focus of a school social worker is to resolve the issues that children experience pertaining to their families and communities in which they reside in, through the resolution of assisting the student with improving their attendance, reducing violence in schools and within their communities. Also, find different interventions to raise their academic achievement. How many social workers are there? The United States does not have an accurate tool or database to estimate the number of social workers working in the school system. Social workers working in this environment may not always have the title as a social worker, which makes it more difficult to track down the most accurate number. Some of their position and titles are listed as behavioral counselors, student assistant counselors, or a crisis intervention counselor. The last reported number of school social workers was in 1996, and it was estimated about 9,000 school social workers reported in the United States. With this being a prominent issue and concern for African American young girls in the school system, the development of prevention and intervention programs are very imperative in addressing the need for school social workers. When a parent reviews national trends concerning violence, dropouts, truancy, and other school problems, it is obvious that there is a need for social workers in the school system. Institutions serving African American girls who have been removed from their schools. Many would bash the school and the juvenile justice system for the way they carry out and address issues pertaining to the youth. Schools have been insensitive and indifferent to the issue. They are not focusing on the other factors that may be contributing to the child's frustrations and behaviors. Some of these children have been physically and sexually abused, which makes them more likely susceptible to having a higher chance of punishment, expulsion, and suspension. Because of this, young girls are having difficulty getting to school and staying in the classroom setting. The juvenile justice system was not created with the intentions of providing an educational foundation. It was created for imprisonment. The school systems should be implementing trainings for all staff so that they are prepared to handle children who are experiencing negative behaviors. There is a clear difference between a criminal act and a child acting out. Children cannot decipher what setting bad behaviors are appropriate. They are expressing themselves in such manner. I read an article written by a journalist named Monique Morris. She conducted a qualitative case study that was based on the impact of exclusionary discipline on African American girls. The purpose of the study was to explore relationships between the criminalized behaviors in schools, racial biases, and gender stereotypes that contribute to the overrepresentation of the school to prison pipeline in Virginia. They surveyed 12 educators and interviewed 8 African American women between the ages of 20 and 30. The outcome of the study demonstrates that the surveyors came up with 3 different interventions to address and resolve the issue. The first one, create a safe environment and a positive learning experience for the children. 2, present the opportunities for policymakers to use their influence to promote social justice. And the third one is the zero tolerance policy to be in effect. Encourage policymakers to implement and restore social justice programs that would be beneficial to the students in the public system by decreasing racial disparity within the school and juvenile justice system.